What's up, guys and gals? It's Chilling with Q10, and we back at it again. I hope you're having a lovely day. I just want to make a quick short video on some stuff that's going on in the news, going on in this crazy world right now. And of course, we're going to be talking about other hot topics, getting back on Epstein and what's going on with him. I know it's been a couple of weeks since Epstein supposedly committed suicide, quote unquote. So we'll be talking about that topic again. But I wanted to get into something I found pretty interesting. I found this article on NBC. I came across it, and let's just say riddled with very toxic femininity. You know, these headlines are getting pretty weird, to say the least. So let's go ahead and check that out. So, of course, the whole Miley Cyrus split with Liam Hemsworth thing. If you keep up with that sort of stuff in Hollywood, which I can care less, but so this article was written by Marcy Bianco, and here's the title: Miley Cyrus split with Liam Hemsworth isn't just celebrity gossip, it's a blow to the patriarchy. Women like Cyrus are speaking out about sexuality in ways that put the power and responsibility back into their own hands. Over the past week, an assortment of trending stories, from Jeffrey Epstein to the Dayton and El Paso murder shootings to the Miley Cyrus separation. Here we go. So, apparently, Miley Cyrus got caught kissing another woman after she split up with her husband Liam. Which, I mean, most of these celebrities, these music stars, they're all pansexuals anyway. I mean, they'll hump anything with 2 or 4 legs. Let's just say. You know, it's highly weird. It's highly weird out there. So she comes out saying that she's not sure that she's straight. Let's just put it that way. And this writer of the article, Marcy, said together have both these women, Juliana Ho, whatever her name is, Miley Cyrus, have laid bare the structures of an American patriarchy on the edge of a nervous breakdown, as the status quo heterosexuality is just not working anymore, quote unquote. So she says heterosexuality is not working anymore. You know, we have to go other routes. Like what? Homosexuality? And that route leads to what? No more babies being made? Depopulation of the earth? Is that the route we want to go? Well, of course, Miss Marcy Bianco is a hardcore feminist. And she had the thing that all men are toxic. That's her belief. And that women need to rise up and take their power back, quote unquote, you know, because their power has been stolen. So let's go on and read. It says, patriarchy is at its most potent when oppression doesn't feel like oppression, or when it is packaged in terms of biology, religion, or basic social needs like security, comfort, acceptance, and success. Heterosexuality offers women all these things as selling points to their consensual subjugation. So she's saying that pretty much if you want to be a heterosexual, you're going to be a slave. That's what she's saying. It's oppression. It's very oppressive to be a slave. You know, I mean, if you're in a heterosexual relationship, you're oppressed and a slave. You know, they're going to have you in the kitchen 24/7, pregnant, year round, barefoot, and all this. I mean, it's the same thing back when they had, they started the first women's rights, movement, women's suffrage and stuff like that. They were saying, get out of the kitchen and all this stuff. Come or go to work, equal, well, now it's equal pay, but back then, they were fighting for the vote, for women's rights and the right to vote, which is okay. That's fine. I mean, it's not cool to make a law saying that anybody of any, male, female, any race or anything just can't vote based on those terms. And there shouldn't be any laws against that. But what today's feminism is it's not it's not like the old time feminism, which wasn't that great, but now it's just gotten a whole lot out of control in today's feminism. Today's feminism says that of course, they harken back to men, specifically white male supremacy, quote unquote, and that we are the oppressors of women and that we hold women down. And so it's time that us as oppressors, because we're given all the good jobs, we're getting all the high paying positions, and women are just, third class citizens, just the bottom of the barrel type stuff. And so this woman, Marcy, apparently has a PhD right here. PhD after her name. I mean, in every article, her name and then PhD. Now, I don't know if she had a PhD, and it might be knowing her liberal arts or gender politics or whatever. She's a feminist. But so I wonder, where were all those men that were holding her down and oppressing her so much that she was able to obtain her PhD? If what she's saying was true, she would never have been able to obtain that status and put it after her name, PhD. So, wow, I mean, it must have been a struggle. All these men just, keeping her down and the foot on her neck, trying to obtain her PhD. I mean, it must have been hell for her, Wow, she went through some stuff, I bet, And I'm being facetious here, but it's just this type of rhetoric where, saying that categorizing pretty much all men. But the main shtick is white male supremacy. And she's also, of course, she's a writer for many outlets like Vox, NBC, and all that. A lot of the far left media outlets. Of course, she's from California, the cesspool of the United States. So she had an article that she writes also for Women's Minstrel Center. Women's Media Center. And it's pretty much just a bunch of feminist stuff on here. Article put up by her on WMC, Women's Rebellion Against Religion. More American women than ever thought before are living without religion. And if history is guide, this bodes well for the future of feminism that seeks to end the systemic oppression of women, beginning with the very language that moralizes the subjugation of women. What she's talking about is the very language of the Bible. Okay, so she's saying the Bible is very oppressive to women. It keeps them in bondage. When we know that's not the truth. The truth is the Bible. The Bible is truth, and it will set you free. Will not make you a slave. But what she's saying is that women, in sense, need to give up Christianity. If you're a Christian, you need to just go agnostic or atheist. Give up Christianity altogether. And because it's very oppressive to you. It tells you what to do with your body. It actually tells you that you can't spread your leg for every man that you run into, which is what they want to do. And then they're anti-consequence or pro-choice, whatever words you want to use. And then they go and murder their child by getting an abortion. So all they want to do is just go around spreading their legs for every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there and not live with the consequences of it. Because, hey, it's my body. I can do what I want. And Christianity and religion is not going to tell me what to do. Well, you know what? There are certain guidelines in the Bible to keep you safe. It's a guardrail to keep you from jumping over the cliff. And all these women that just want to be promiscuous. And I know some of you out there might be saying that I'm slut shaming or whatever, but hey, the shoe fits. If you are, you are. And if you believe so much that it's your body, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, but that doesn't mean you have to be a hoe. That doesn't mean you have to be out there prostituting yourself out to every guy and then go and murder your unborn baby by getting an abortion because you don't want to have to deal with those consequences. So, that's just crazy. So she's saying that, if you're a Christian, and you're a woman, give it up because you're being totally oppressed, which is very identity politics, pretty much what they're playing here. And because they cry for equal rights, they cry for equal pay and all this stuff, but at the same time they want laws passed that say that companies have to hire more women, or if a woman applies for the same job as a man applies for, they should show favor for the woman over the man. Is that equality? Or are you just categorizing everybody, putting them in their own little, it's the same thing. It's the same thing that the far left does when they talk about race or racism. How they talk about the white man bad, and let's have an all-black group here, or have an all-black, university or something like here. But isn't that just segregation? Didn't we try to overcome that? When the black people couldn't sit on the bus, they had to sit in the back, or they had their own water fountain and stuff like that. Doesn't that seem like the far left now today is trying to do the same thing that they're saying that the white man, is trying to do to them today? But that's not. I love how they spin the narrative. I just love how they try to seem like they're on the side. We're all human, devoid of color of skin. If you're a crappy person, you're a crappy person. If you're a crappy person of bad morals and bad character, then you're just a crappy person. It doesn't matter if you're black or white or Asian. It doesn't matter what race you are. We're all the same human race. But if you're just a crappy person, and that's just who you are, it doesn't matter the color of your skin. But of course the media wants to spin it, turn it around, and make it a race issue, so they can keep us fighting each other while the unseen hand is behind their back, doing some other stuff. It's something to keep us in a perpetual conflict with each other. That way we can't see what they're doing, which is spewing lies and drumming up hate. And, they blame Trump for a lot of this stuff. And like I said in the past, I'm not a big Trump supporter. There's a lot of things that he does that I do agree with and I like, but him as a person in general, I can't agree with everything. And just his character and, the way he handles himself is crude at times. I would do better, in certain situations like that. But, hey, that's him. That's Trump. But are we living in some type of totalitarian government system right now? No, I don't think so. Is it a socialist country right now? No, it's not. So, they just trying to pass the buck. And they need a scapegoat. They need a boogeyman. And right now it's Trump. And right now it's white men. White male supremacy. You're going to see that a lot. So there also is another article. Understanding the rage of white male supremacy. The rage of white male supremacy. An interview with Lisa Wade, PhD. Another woman with a PhD that the man was keeping her down. She should have never obtained this PhD because of oppressive men. Oppressive white men. The audacity of white male supremacy is the national conversation appears to have happened overnight, and now that both the media and public seem to be ready to draw a direct line connecting hate-filled and violent rhetoric, which not only seems to be sheltered under the administration, Trump's administration, but instigated by it, to the nightmarish frequency of mass shootings with government brandishing manifestos against race mixing and interracial unions. So they pick one incident where this crazy guy, quote unquote, supposedly made this manifesto where, that's the El Paso shooter, where he was saying that he didn't think it was appropriate for race mixing, and he went to some other crazy stuff, which, in my opinion, man, it's hard to believe. It's really hard to believe that this guy wrote this. This guy looks like he couldn't even wipe his own butt afterwards, and it's hard for me to believe, but let's go with it and say that he did. This is one incident that they want to pick and pin it on Trump's presidency. Like I said, it's the blame game here. Blame video game, blame Trump. It's like, how about you blame the person who got the gun and pulled the trigger? Oh, so it says, goes on to say, we spoke with Lisa Wade, PhD and associate professor of psychology. Am I saying that right now? At the Occidental College and author of American Hookup, The New Culture of Sex on Campus. Wow, it's an awesome book. The New Culture of Sex on Campus, The Hookup. To better understand relationships and a long history between white supremacy, masculinity, and the American image. So first of all, what these feminists hate most of all is a real man. They categorize a real man doing real men things, okay, as toxic masculinity. If you have too much testosterone that makes you a man, you're toxic. You're a toxic male. And we need to get rid of you. We need to pump you full of estrogen. We need to make you all happy and giddy. So we can rise above you. That's how equal we want to be towards you. We want to take the so-called quote unquote power that you have, reverse it, give it to women so we can rise above you. And that makes us equal. That's the type of equality they want, these hardcore feminists. And don't get me wrong. When I say, I'm not talking about all women. These are the hardcore feminists, and there are a good bit of them with these ideologies. If I love my wife is nothing like that. And I thank God that she is not like that. If she was like that, we wouldn't even made it past the second date. I would have known something was off. I'm not dealing with that. She's a woman. She's what you call a real woman, not these crazy hardcore feminists. To me, they're useless women. And I know they're probably going to get a lot of backlash for that, but in my opinion, these women are useless. I mean, they go around loving abortion, don't want a real family, don't want really having kids. But by the time maybe they realize they want to have kids, their uterus is dried up, their ovaries are gone, their eggs are not dry, they have no eggs, and they're just left at home sobbing in a depression, with a pint of Haagen-Dazs chocolate ice cream, eating their fillings, and then ending up on 600-pound life, it's crazy, the understanding of these women. But this is a long time coming. It's a lot of programming that's in this. It starts in college, where these women go to get their PhDs that men are keeping them down, from obtaining. But it goes without saying, it is some crazy times right now, of course, that we're living in. So, and it's it's not equality or anything that they want. It's what they want to do is they want to rise above what they see as a white male supremacy oppression. And they always told white male supremacy because if they say anything towards the black community or maybe Asian community, anything else than white community, they don't want to seem racist. I mean, because they're more progressive, so let's just go after the white man because he's the one that's got all the power, And it's like, yeah, because all my life I've been working and moving towards, higher pay grades and then, higher things. And boy, I'm sure glad I had my white supremacy and my, my white entitlement got me through a lot of that, And of course, I'm being facetious right now because I had to work hard and bust my butt to get to where I am today. And these people just think that because I was born white, that I have some type of inherent entitlement that lets me have everything in my life and I don't have to work towards it. Well, that's bullcrap, because I did have to work towards it. I had a lot of blood, sweat, and a lot of tears working towards it. I didn't have a silver spoon in my mouth just being born white. I had to work towards it, just like a lot of other men of different color had to work towards it, and everything was not given to them, like some of these crazy feminists who probably had a lot of stuff handed to them, and now they've told them they want equal this and equal that. And now they're telling you to get rid of the Bible, get rid of Christianity. You know, the only reason they want to do that is so they don't have any guilt on how they live their life, especially with abortion and then you're just being promiscuous, as much as they want and not dealing with the consequences. So that really gets me fired up when these women are coming out and talking about stuff like these. When I say these women, I remind you, hardcore feminists. Not every woman. There's a lot of good women out there. A lot of good women out there. A lot of good Christian women, very conservative, that love being a wife, love being a mother, and they're not toxic. These women are toxic, and you wonder why some of these men out here, they're forming MAGTOW, men going their own way type stuff, and they're forming these groups, but they don't want to have nothing to do with women in general. It turns them off to all women. And like I said, not all women are like that, but it's these hardcore feminists that get into the brains of some of these young women, and when they grow up, they have all these ideas that, the man's an oppressor, you should have the upper hand on that man. And it's funny because they, most women, what they do, they go in and then they start, they use their looks, and let's just say their looks, and they use the other part to get what they want, to get the resources they want. And then they turn around and say that the men are oppressing them. But then they're going to go and use their bodies as something to get what they want, to get their resources, which is crazy. It boggles my mind, man. But like I said, there's a lot of good women out there. A lot of good women out there. It's just some of these crazy hardcore feminists that are just toting all this stuff and putting it out. And it's a bunch of crap. That's what it is. Oh, I got a PhD in gender politics, and it's like, what are you doing with that? You just gonna go to a far left media outlet and spew some crap with your PhD that apparently a man was keeping you down from getting in the first place? Go somewhere else with that, man. All right, enough of that. I'm tired. I can go on for days about that, but let's go ahead and get into something else. So, of course, David Koch, one of the Koch brothers, died today, age 79, and there's a lot of controversy between the Koch brothers, and, David Koch, he seemed to be like the lesser of three evils with the brothers, but I'm pretty sure when he first started out that he didn't have, a conservative mindset, with all, the money and the Koch industries, money they made from oil fields and work, and all the different type of stuff that they were doing. So in 2018, Koch has stepped down from the Koch industries, which refines crude oil, produces fertilizers, and manufactures household products, citing a declining health. So since 2018, knew something was going on. He had been a major donor of the arts, especially ballet, and donated to New York's Lincoln Center and Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center Hospital. He ran for vice president as a libertarian in 1980. So as a libertarian in 1980, calling for the abolishment of many federal government agencies. Well, man, if this guy was the real deal, and he would have won, and these many federal government agencies, I wonder if he was talking about the Federal Reserve, if he was going to shut that down, which I don't know. This guy made money, I mean, his money is from the Federal Reserve note, most of it. That's how he got paid. So that's it on David Koch. Whether you believe, he was a good guy, a philanthropist, and stuff, giving away to charity and stuff, which he probably did, but his other brothers, that doesn't bode well with me, with the other guys. So it is sad to hear, prayers for his family in this time. So it is a sad situation. All right, next up on the list. So we have Breitbart News reporting the Young Turks. Hassan Piker, or however you say his name, says America deserved 9/11. And he mocked Dan Crenshaw's war injury. So Hassan Piker, he is a contributor to Progressive Show with the Young Turks that's on YouTube. He's a nephew of the show's founder. So during one of his rants that apparently happened on Tuesday, he said that America deserved 9/11 and praised the brave effing soldier who injured the Navy SEAL Representative Dan Crenshaw. So he's saying that whoever injured Dan Crenshaw's eye, that's why he wears the patch and stuff like that. He praises that brave soldier, whoever he was, for injuring his eye. But the biggest thing here, the Young Turks. This guy's a contributor. He's saying that now, whether you believe 9/11 was an inside job or whatever, not, whether it was perpetrated by a government or by radical terrorists, it is beyond the point. People still died. But this guy is saying that we deserve that, and all those people that died in the World Trade Center towers deserve to be killed. Pretty much what he's saying. America deserved 9/11. All those people deserved to die. And, that was his rant. That's why he keeps on just going on and on. Using, dropping F-bombs, because he's very literate, and pretty much every other word that comes out of his mouth is F, and, other curse words. So Piker, he also mocked Crenshaw on Twitter, saying that Dan Crenshaw was crying on a comedian's podcast about how not offended he was about a joke made against him almost an entire year ago. Right-wing victimhood is a brain disease. More like far-left crazy is a disease, which most of these people are. And the hate that they spew, and still monetized on YouTube. But hey, YouTube's a nice platform for the left. But I'm going to continue to upload my videos to YouTube until they shut me down. So, I don't care about that. I'm going to say what I need to say, free speech. We all know that Google and everything, they're always manipulating anybody who's conservative, white supremacist, white male supremacist. Hey, got a lot of things going for me right now. But yeah, so this is the type of hate that they can spew out and post to YouTube and other media outlets. And nobody blinks an eye, These companies don't blink an eye and say, hey, you kind of violated our community guidelines there. Nope, not going to say it. Not going to say anything. You could talk about, this guy could have talked about murdering Dan Crenshaw, and he could have got away with it. But any conservative tacos, if I would go in there and start blasting Dan Crenshaw and saying crazy stuff, well, not Dan Crenshaw, but if I would go in there and just, let's just say I blast the Young Turks, or I blast Hillary, or I blast Ilhan Ohmar, if I go in and talk, nasty and do it, I would be banned. I'll be gone. I'll be out of here, So, another far left douchebag. So, that's that. I ain't got nothing else to say. There it is. So, of course, talking about Ilhan Ohmar, she did recently, of course, in the news, they came out and said Israel banned them from going over there because of their anti-Semitic speech. And yes, they did have anti-Semitic speech. It was in their tweets until, she deleted her tweets, the ones that were anti-Semitic. And she just came back and said, if you say anything about the Israeli government that's bad, you're considered anti-Semitic and stuff like that. And it's like, well, if you're a Muslim and you're saying that Israel hypnotized the world and that you praise Allah, that people will see. Really? You're here in the United States and somehow got voted into Congress. The United States is mainly a Christian nation. You do know that, right? And serving your people, and you're out there pretty much praising Allah. That just doesn't sit right to me. And I know, I might get people saying, oh, you need to be more diverse and you shouldn't be such xenophobe, and they're just gonna hit me with all these crazy terms that the left likes to use to put people down, racist, xenophobic, all this crazy stuff that they do, these words they like to use. And it's like, look, this country was founded on Christian values. Yeah, it's okay, we can have Muslim people over here, but they can't, go around trying to change those values by saying, hey, we need Sharia law in the United States, and that has to be the law of the land, or you need to praise Allah and stuff like that. It's like, nope, not gonna do it. If you want to do that, go back to your place of origin, if you would like to do that. As far as us, as far as me and my house, we shall serve the Most High God of Israel. That's what the Bible says. He's the God of the whole universe, but in the Bible, he's mentioned as the God of Israel. And if you are grafted into the branch of Israel, then you are considered part of Israel. New Testament. We are grafted in. So, do I agree with Israel's decision to ban them from going? Yeah, why not? They hate Israel. They hate. They are anti-Semitic. Her, Ilhan, and what's the Taliban, Rashid, whatever her name is, Rashid Taliban, I don't know, those people over there in Congress. I have no idea how they got voted in. I have no idea. I mean, it must be one leftist after another just voting them in. Crazy, blows my mind. But anyway, yeah. So last thing we'll talk about, Epstein. It's been in the news for a long time. And as more developing things coming out, and I'm just going to make it short and sweet. Do I think he committed suicide? No. Do I believe he was murdered? Yes, I do, because it doesn't match up. Cellmate transferred the day before his suicide. Taken off a suicide watch by his lawyers day before. Tried to hang himself with a bed sheet. Medical examiner said he broke bones in his neck. Okay? The ceiling wasn't high enough for him to get up there and hang himself and break bones in his neck. Well, they said he tied himself to his bedpost. I don't think he was strong enough to inflict that much pressure to break bones in his neck. Guards fell asleep at the same time for 3 hours. 3 hours, people. The guards fell asleep. The guards that were supposed to be making the rounds at Epstein's jail fell asleep for 3 hours at the same time. All the cameras malfunction. All the cameras malfunction. And in these correctional facilities, they are supposed to have cameras in the jail cells. There's supposed to be a master operator that lets the guards in. They're supposed to, these cells, most of these cells, now this could be different for where he was held, but most of the time, it's supposed to be to where they have like a little buzzer, and they can buzz into the master operator, and he can see, if they're beating their heads in the toilet or they're trying to escape or whatever, not, stuff like that. So to me, saying that there was no camera in his cell, or the only camera that was working at the time didn't have an angle of view to catch Epstein apparently committing suicide, and then his lawyers take him off a suicide watch, and then now his lawyers have lawyered up. Why are you lawyering up? So a lot of things just don't sit right with me. And the media is coming out and say, believe the facts, which the facts they want you to believe is the facts, quote unquote, that they tell you, which is fake news to begin with, the far left media like CNN and stuff like that. Believe the facts and don't give in to the conspiracy theory. You know what? It's not really a conspiracy theory. To think about somebody murdered Epstein. It's common sense. The evidence doesn't line up. Inspector Clouseau, the evidence doesn't line up. And I cannot for 1 second believe that Epstein committed suicide. He was murdered. Plain and simple. He was murdered. He had dirt on people who did not want to be outed. They didn't want to have the light shined on their face. Well, they got somebody in there. Whether you believe it's the Clintons or whether you believe whoever high-powered official he had, because he had a lot of powerful people in this little black book. It might not just been the Clintons. Somebody else could have wanted them going. Oh, they may have all got together, and took him out. Either way, he was murdered. That's it. Plain and simple. Somebody murdered him. They didn't want this guy getting on the stand and testifying. They wanted to make sure he's 6 feet under and his mouth is shut. So, that's my thing on Epstein. Plain and simple. He was murdered. Plain and simple. Wow, they're doing some construction next door. That's great. Really great. Really great. Yeah, how about you go ahead and turn that power tool up to 10, buddy? Yeah. Anyway, so but yeah, that's my whole thing on Epstein. He was murdered. Definitely. And then another thing too, just one little note. Chris Cuomo, the whole thing going on with him, somebody called him Fredo. And he went all, oh, bubbly, boobly, boobly, I kick your butt, bubbly, boobly. Gangster mob mentality. Italian gangster, came out and saying that, Fredo was equivalent to the N-word. And it's like, wow, really? You stick to the cue cards that CNN gives you, Kumo. Yeah, no, you didn't do too good on this one, buddy. Then he comes back and I should have been the better person. And this is like, no, you're a total douche. You're just a total douche. In front of the camera, you want to seem like this upright and nice guy on CNN, or you can spew your hate, towards conservatives and stuff like that. But behind the scenes, yeah, you're a total douche. So, no pass. Do not collect gold. Do not collect $200. You're a douche. So, well, all right, YouTube. That's been my rant. There's a lot of things going on, but life is still good. We can still live life to the fullest, and every day above ground is a great day. So let me know what you guys think. Go ahead and leave a comment below. We'll get back to you, whether you liked it, whether you have a comment on something I talked about, and we can just have a nice back and forth debate. Not even a debate, but just talk, whatever. Just go ahead and leave a comment below. If you like what you saw, click that like button, click that subscribe button. You know what to do. This is Chillin' with Q10. I'll see you later. Peace.
If you like what you just saw, consider hitting that subscribe button for more great content.